How's everybody doing? Hopefully you had a good New Year's Eve. Tomo had a quiet one. Didn't you, Tomo? Huh. Here. So, been debating on doing this video for a while. Finally decided it. What the hell? I'll do it. Excuse me. Trying to get over a cold. And that is, well, sword-like objects. Like this. We've all seen these. You know, this is what you would call the helicopter of death. It's basically a sword-like object. Rat tail tang, you know. The scary part is, these are still being made. I mean, just listen to that. Okay. And of course we all know the eater wrap's just glued, if that. There's no semi-god, it's all plastic. You know, this site actually sounds like, holy shit, yeah, it is. It is wood. And the blade is actually a lot smaller on these, but you wouldn't want to like swing this around unless you want something catastrophic to happen. Now, granted, we saw a lot of these in the 90s, for sure. And then we saw stuff like this in the 90s. This one really doesn't rattle. Well, yeah, it does. It's a metal scabbard. This is a United Cutlery deal. Now, the problem with this thing is, one, you don't really know what the tang is like. Two, it's stainless, which is the worst thing that you could potentially cut with. Because of the chromium they put in stainless, it's a lot, okay? And nickel. So chromium, this has a high amount of chromium, and they also put nickel in it, and nickel can make metal kind of soft, because nickel is kind of a soft metal. And on top of it, with something like this, you have these two little cutouts right here, which is not that big of a deal, but that could potentially be a breaking point. Not to mention that this handle alone weighs, I can tell it's over a pound, this handle alone. So it really wants to drop the blade. So yeah, if you had a sword that's functional like that, it might work for you, okay? Definitely not going to swing this shit around. But it's okay to have wall hangers like this. Yeah, it's fine, especially something like this. You know you're not going to use it. You know it's just a conversation piece, you know. So, because it looks futuristic and all that and what have you and whatnot. Totally not practical though. But then, this is stuff that's definitely produced. Definitely you don't want to own, because look at that. That definitely, you're supposed to put your finger in there. This is my hand. There are many like it. But this one is mine. No way in hell am I sticking my finger in there so you could stab somebody. If that thing breaks or bends back, one way or another, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. I don't even know what the hell this shit's made out of. Don't know if it's stainless, whatever. I mean, you listen to it. It almost doesn't sound metal. Almost sounds like it's plasticky. But you could tell it's metal because it's got a nice edge on it. You know, would I even use this to cut boxes? Probably not. Although the liner lock lines up pretty damn good, if you can see that in there. I mean, it's like right on center. Still wouldn't use it. Hell no. And of course, it's got the traditional, you know, glass breaker on it and shit like that. With the rainbow coating and stuff. Stuff like this is still produced. It's gimmicky. Just like all those are gimmicky. I would say like something like this, if you had a kid and you could secure it to the wall and they're into anime and gaming and which there's nothing wrong with that. But you want to secure these on the wall so they can feel a little bit more like, you know, involved in their games or whatever, where they can't take it off. Hey, go for it. You know, because totally a non-functional sword. You definitely want to secure it where they can't get it off the wall, though, so they don't swing it around and become a helicopter of death. So if you like this stuff and you want to put it on your wall, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you know it's not functional. And then we got stuff like this that's still made. Now, I'm not going to bash on this. And the only reason why I say that is because my daughter got this for me a couple Christmases ago because it's all she could afford. Bless her heart. I mean, so I'm not going to bash on it. She tried. You know, and you can't hate somebody for that. That right there. Would I use it? Probably not. Definitely not. I don't even know what it's made out of. Oh, no, here we go. Stainless, but it doesn't tell me what type. 316, 304, 440. That does matter because that depends on how much chromium they put in and how much nickel they put in it. It's not really sharp. The problem with this thing too is that hello wicked curve. If you go to put this thing back in here, ooh, I did it. It will get hung up. Again, cool piece. You hang it on the wall. Compensation piece. Would you want to use this for survival? No. Not ever. Never ever. No. Okay. Then we got stuff like this. Yeah. I love coming back to this one. I just love it. Like I said, looks cool. It's functional. Which is a good thing. Kind of. And why I say that is, falls out of the saya. Wait, I mean, you turn this thing over, and it's hitting the ground. Okay? Doesn't retain, you know, it's locking like it should. Extremely front heavy. Point balance is over 6 inches. I do know some swords, yeah, their point balance is out. Okay? But when you have a handle this short that forces your hands too close together, one, it makes it hard to control. Two, it's uncomfortable sometimes when you got your hands so close. Like I said in previous video, this back notch here, this is where you can put the lanyard. It's kind of sharp, so you really don't want to dig your hand into it too much. If you need hand protection, there's really none. Okay, because the guard. I don't know why. Besides Dragon King. Okay, besides Dragon King. Like I said, I don't own the modern style that they came out with, Daisho set. That looks really nice. Wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of them to review. But at least they even kept the traditional Tsuba. People want to do this shit. Okay, so the way you open a katana is you got to use your thumb. Obviously, you keep your thumb to the right when you do it. So when you open it, you push from this side, okay? That's how you dislodge it from the blade. This one forces you to do this. Now, like I said, this thing just falls out of the saya. So if it slips or whatever, comes out, your thumb is there. If it just falls out, your thumb is on the top. When you want to lock a katana in or keep it locked in, you could put your thumb on the side. This forces you to kind of do this awkward thing, and you can't really do that with this thing. It's awkward, and it hurts if you go on the top of it. Kind of practical, not 100% functional though. It is a T10 or a 1060 blade. Excuse me, I almost said T10. Which is fine. It's thick. It's got a thick blade. That's why I said they should have made the handle longer. Like 11 and a half, maybe 12, and this thing would have probably been balanced out nicely. That's like, this is almost like put a 10-inch handle on an odachi with a 35 and a half inch long blade. It's not going to be doing too well for you. It's going to be very cumbersome. And that's what this thing is. It's very cumbersome. This is what happens when people want to try and reinvent the sword. Because when you think about it, okay, the sword in a way is a marvel of ingenuity, okay? There are certain parameters that you have to have with a sword, okay? And that is all in the design of the sword. So hang on a sec. So the design of the sword, you have nice balance to it. This one's about 4.5 out. The handle is close to 11. It's like, I think 10 3/4 on this one. My sweet spot is 11, but my hands are much farther apart. That gives you just a little bit more control. Not as thick of a blade. Now, this is what I would call a medium cutter. How can you tell between light, medium, and heavy? Okay, so a light would be like a Hirozakuri, where it looks just like a splitting maul shape. It's just a perfect V. A medium is like this. Okay, you got some meat, not too much though. So, and it's not too heavy. Heavy cutter would shape like an apple seed. We actually have 4 swords that are designed that way. Those are heavy cutters, and you can feel it when you rub from the edge, be careful, where it's sharp, and run your finger up to the shinogi line. You should feel it raise in the center of the blade, okay? Japanese is called niku, that means meat. So that's what constitutes a heavy cutter. Those will cut just about anything that is practical to cut, tatami, especially bamboo. That's what you want to use, is a blade design like that. Not so good for trick cutting though, because of that apple seed shape, okay? It creates more of a drag, whereas this one's more of a trick cutter, medium, okay? Now back to like this honshu with the short handle. Because if I put the two together here, you can tell this handle's a lot longer. Hang on. Way, 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 way longer. Okay? Because you can't count this. So from here down is the handle. But I have more room to move on this guy. But then, if I were to take this handle and put it on this bad boy, it wouldn't work. Not too well. This thing's a beast of a blade already. So, and it is front heavy. But that's why you have a long handle. Okay, because the point of balance on this is out there. It really, I think it's like 5.5 on this guy, right about there. That's about 5.5, roughly. I don't have my POB stand out here. So, hence the very long handle. Okay, so the Hanshi has a 30-inch blade. This is a 35.5. Okay. This only has 5.5 inches over that thing. But when I hold it with both hands, it does not feel front heavy whatsoever. Now, if you use one hand, yeah, because it's a long blade, it's going to feel front heavy. But the moment I put my left hand on it, it doesn't. Which gives me the control I need to handle this blade. Even if I move my hand up, it's still doable, okay? Because you got all this extra down here. Acts as a counterweight. Longer the blade, longer the handle sometimes. Well, most times actually. Now, you can't count the Nagamaki because it has a short blade with a very long handle, the older versions, because that handle was designed for leverage with the short blade. So, hence, like an Odachi has a long handle, it gives you that leverage because you have such a long blade, but it gives you leverage with the short blade as well. So, but we still have, like I said, stuff like this being produced. And really, because though of the sword community in particular, how big it has gotten, people have gotten more and more educated, which is a good thing, on what type of swords to look for. Otherwise, there's going to be there would be a lot more of these helicopters of death out and about. But I've actually seen these in a thrift store in the next county over, and they mark them as swords, which this is not a sword, for like $50, $60. I'm sorry, I would not pay $50, $60 for something like this. No freaking way. What I look for a sword, what is it that I look for when I buy a sword? There's three first things I look for. How it's made. How it's made. Does it have the pins in it? Or is it pinged for European swords? Or is it pinged on the end? Tomoe is going crazy right now. Yeah, she's going ballistic. Yeah, she's following me around. Come here, girl. Thinks she wants my attention, so hang on, guys. Come here, girl. Come here. So, three things I look for. How it's made. Okay. Is it practical? And is it functional? Because how it's made, it falls into the functionality of the blade. Then I start looking at, okay, what is it made out of? How is it made? Is it differentially hardened? Is it through hardened? Okay. There's pros and cons for both of those though. But I still look for those three things. How it's made, practicality, and functionality. Then I start looking at the materials and all that. But thankfully, like I said, because of this community, and much as it has grown over the years, people are getting more and more educated, which is actually a good thing. Now, the next thing people need to start learning is how dangerous a sword can be. It's just as dangerous as a firearm. People think, oh, a sword, No, they're dangerous. Okay, I can't stress that enough. They are a dangerous weapon. Especially if you get into something that's double-edged. Now you really, hey sweetie, you really have to be careful. Because you got two sides that are sharp now. It's like a Motohara or a Kugurasu, which are basically the same thing. Trying to resheath that in a traditional style, you can't. You got some companies don't sharpen the backside. Some do. Mine is sharp on the backside. So you can't resheath that in the traditional way. So you have to be careful. So now that people I see are getting more and more educated because of our channels and it growing more and more, we need to really make sure people somehow know that A, they're dangerous. You can't just go out and start swinging them around. And B, how to use them. And I know some channels already try and do that, which is great. Because the less injuries we can help prevent, I think the better off people will be, and the more interested they're going to get into wanting either Asian weapons or European weapons, all kinds. Africa, they've got swords, you know. America, we really don't. We have the cavalry sword, that's about it. Which is literally based off a French saber. So, I mean, I would just get a French saber. They're almost identical, almost. So, yeah, I mean, if we can help this community grow more by educating people more, especially on the danger factor and how to properly use one, which like I said, I know a lot of people trying to do that already, which is great. I think this community could grow even bigger. And if somebody wants to buy something like this to hang on their wall as a conversation piece, go ahead, do it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just don't use it. Don't use it. Now, if you come across things like this, don't even buy it. Not even as a conversation piece, because shit happens. Yeah, just avoid this shit altogether. Seriously, just avoid it altogether. Okay? I don't even know where this thing came from, to be honest. So, yeah, stay away from stuff. Just get a regular, I don't care if it's a gas station folder, just don't, make sure it doesn't look like this. That's all. Yeah, because like I said, I ain't sticking my finger in there. No way. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you. I was going to do a video on mall ninjas, but that's been like beating a dead horse. So I figured I'd go over sword-like objects, you know, and the helicopter of death, because that's what I call these. I call these a helicopter of death, because that's what it's going to turn into. You know, and how ridiculous that stuff like this is still being made. And I think it's because we do have some websites that sell shit like this, like Bud K. Bud K sells these things. Why? Why do we have to do that? You know, because this does. If you're not educated and you buy it and you start swinging around, that can that becomes dangerous. Just avoid these unless you want to decorate. you know. Or if you're afraid of someone breaking in your house and stealing like your real stuff, just line your walls with these. You know, it'd be a deterrent of them actually getting your fully functional stuff. But like I said, that's all I have from you guys. I hope you found this one informative, a little comical, and I hope everybody had a good New Year's Eve night, and we'll catch you on the next one. Oh, one more thing before I go. Got another knife coming in. Supposed to be here Monday. Don't know when I'm going to get that video out because I go back to work. We've been on vacation. Excuse me. Like I said, I've been getting over a cold. Now my wife's got it. And I've got something else coming in the mail. It was supposed to be here Wednesday. Didn't get here. So now they're saying Saturday. I'm hoping it's here tomorrow because mail will be running because it's literally an hour and a half away from us. So I'm hoping it shows up tomorrow. And if it does, I'm going to try and get this video out. It is a sword. I'm going to do some testing on it. Not going to destroy it. Okay. Not going to tell you what it's made out of. Not going to tell you what the price range is just yet. Don't know if I am in that video. Depends on how the testing goes because we got shit weather again. So it depends if I get outside. But definitely might do a live after it to get some of you guys' inputs and ideas. So hopefully that turns out okay tomorrow. Keep your fingers crossed it shows up. And now we will see you in the next one.